Welcome back, guys, to the fourth part of the Q&A. Yes, we are here quite a way through. We've done channel questions, video game questions, game requests, and the general weird questions that come about and around. So now we move on to something that, to be honest, is a question that always comes up when you're a YouTuber. It's basically like, I want to get into YouTube. How do I do this, if you know what I mean? How do you do this? What do you need? Stuff like that. So all I can really do is say the stuff that I use, so this is what this video is going to be. It's going to be like a mini setup video. It's not going to be like a proper one, but it's just going to be focusing on how I make videos, what settings I use, what materials I use. So you guys, if you're interested, can find out. If you're interested in building a YouTube channel, you can see what I use. So let's, well, say the question that was asked first of all with a handy tablet. Hey Oliz, I've been watching Let's Plays for a few years now, and I've kept up with you for a while. Your videos are cool and I love the editing magic you have going on in your Let's Play of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. That takes so long, it's ridiculous. It really is. I've been inspired to become a Let's Player myself, so I was wondering what kind of software or what brand of recording and editing stuff do you use? It's great quality, okay, cool. The sound and picture you have in your videos are, okay. I'd like to master the art of video making as it seems you have the type of equipment you have, or with the type of equipment you have, sorry, I'm really good at reading me. I can imagine it's pricey, but can you tell me the name of the stuff you use for your videos? Yes, it is pricey, and to be honest, if you're forking out on it, don't expect any monetary returns for a couple of years at the very least, unless you go boom, unless you really spring up. Because to be honest, not just the capture equipment you need, it's all about like getting a good PC with a good processor to do some good faster rendering. You've got to think about your internet connection, your upload speeds, all that jazz. So yeah, as a beginning Let's Player and trying to get into it, let's start with some just talking first. Don't expect to get big. 50,000 subscribers may feel like it's a big thing to you, but that's just because, you know, I've been around for a very long time now, more than I've really hit out and spread out and all that. To be honest, on the videos, I need you guys to kind of pile on more likes and share it around for me to really grow at this point. Otherwise, I just trickle in subscribers organically, which I'm completely fine with. But yeah, don't force yourself to have targets or anything like that. Don't think, I'm going to be the biggest, YouTuber ever. Just make videos that you want to make, and if you get an audience, great. If you don't, you should be trying to make the videos because it's your hobby. It's like a passion. It's something you want to do extra. Maybe think of something down the line, like I've said many times, I make these videos so that one day I want to introduce my kids to the game. There's a Let's Play from Daddy and they can see it, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like secondary goals that are outside of the YouTube thing of like all these numbers, like how many views am I getting, how many subscribers am I getting, outside of those metrics, which may bring you down when you're kind of like, well, why aren't I being seen? There's many reasons for that, and the fact is that there's so many YouTubers out there, so in the search terms only a few videos can show up. I'm like lucky enough that, for example, Twilight Princess, it's really me heavily featured on that. Other Let's Plays as well, you can search some of my titles and you will find Olizandri videos up on the first or second pages. That's just fluke, that is. There's so many YouTubers that those slots can only be filled by a couple. I'm lucky with some respects, but, you know, it's just, yeah, it's hard and somewhat random how you do. So don't think of yourself like, I have to be this, I have to be that. Do it because you like doing it. So that's what I advise as a first getting in Let's Player. Do it because you like doing it and you want to do it for the couple of people that may watch you. Don't do it for this number, I want this number, I want that number, because you will just end up resenting it, frustrated and hating it. Because to be honest, that's partly why I moved over from Call of Duty in the end, putting in so much work for the video and not getting any of the views or the recognition. It's something you do, so I changed mindset, changed my style, and there we go. Built up just naturally, organically, and without trying to get people in. So, let's move on from here. I've talked about like setting up and having good goals that aren't, you know, focused on those silly metrics on YouTube. So from that we go on to, well, one of all you'll need is a good broadband connection. Of course you'll need something with an upload, I'd say at least 1 meg. 1 meg upload at least. That's usually like, for example in Britain, that would usually come with like a 10 download, 1 upload. that gets you videos in HD up at good times. For example, I could upload in 1080p at even higher quality, but that would up the render times, I think, and up the upload time significantly. So you've got to think about things like that. Then you've got, you know, your own time. Can I get a room that's quiet to be able to do this in? And there's other factors just from the equipment. But for now, yes, if you've got an okay net connection, if you've got a lower upload than that, you could upload smaller videos. To be honest, it dictates how long the videos you can do and what quality you can do your videos in. So that's very important. And if you want to live stream as well, you'll need even higher upload than that. I mean, I've only got like just above a 1 or something like that. So I can do these videos on a daily basis, but it still requires a fairly long upload time, like 3-4 hours of video. Yes, that's kind of ridiculous, you may think, but that's why I have uploads running overnight, which is all good. So I plan, plot, times will always fit. Let's move on finally to the gear, and what we're going to go to first is we're going to go to capture gear, so you guys can see what I use and what I do with each part. So as we cut on to a view of the floor, let's get moving. And so now we move things over to shaky cam style as I point at all the equipment I use to record. Now this isn't absolutely everything, because some of course are software programs, but these are capture cards in various forms. You may notice, hey, that's not a capture card, but yes, that's different in itself. So the very first one I bought, the very first capture card I ever owned, was this, the Hauppauge HD PVR, not a gaming edition or anything like that, but it's a very, very, very little old one here. This is what, since I've been filming videos, this is the one. This is the one that's done the most of them, the mainstay. And as you can see, it's got lots of slots here. We've got different component slots here, HD component. Top ones go to the TV, bottom ones get the console put in them. We've got other things like optic things, disabled, a little bit of power and all that. The USB that transfers the data to the PC and also does the other stuff. And so, yes, it's a very old HD PVR at this point in time. We've got some extra S-video and video slots up here, which I'm very thankful for, to be honest. And it's also remote control if you want to use it that way. But yes, this records... Basically, nowadays, this records my Wii footage. So anything from the GameCube era or on the usual Wii goes through this at this point in time. Also, PlayStation 3 footage also goes through that, as with my Xbox 360 footage. Now, I can get the Xbox 360 footage through there, but the thing with PS3 is it has some protection, HDCP protection, which means that it can't use an HDMI to record. As you see, there's no HDMI slot in here anyway, so that's why I use the PS3 of it. I use component cables, and that bypasses the HDCP kind of protection, and therefore I get it. So that records all that kind of gameplay. So this is the older stuff. So your Xbox 360, your PS3, and my Wii all go through this one. This is the main thing, and to be honest, it's gone so old now that the white and red ones that go in from the console have now actually broken a little bit and only get a little bit of sound. So yes, this was, I think, around 100 quid originally. I have to put, if you've got that problem, by the way, you can put the white and the red of the console in through here and it will still work, so it's all good. But yeah, fairly expensive at the time. Don't know the price at the moment, but that's basically been the mainstay of recording stuff up until I think it was Mass Effect 3. Because there was issues with filming Mass Effect 3 or something like that, or around that era where Becca got me an Elgato. Now, an Elgato HD Capture HD, game capture of course, has its own nice recording software and all that, nicer than the old software that came with that, that's for sure, because you can live stream through it and other stuff like that. So this is essentially a live streaming device as well. So it does all that for you. We've got an AV in there, an HDMI, HDMI out, and a USB which also powers it. So this one needs a DC, this one just needs a USB to power. This one films all my HDMI or really HD kind of footage. So this films the Wii U and the Xbox One whenever I use that, and it can also live stream for the HDMI. It can't play with the PS3 of course because the HDCP protection, so this one is for the latest games consoles. You'll need an HDMI. Now I'm pretty sure Hauppauge should bring out new capture boxes with the HDMI built in as well, plus there's loads of internal capture cards you can get, but for now this is what I'd use if I had the net power. So that films what I'd say is the better looking stuff. Also, a nice little thing about the Elgato is that it has this special kind of frame thing in it that if you're filming, for example, a really old game, so like we're talking, I think A Link to the Past kind of had this issue, to be honest. If you're filming an old game, there's usually it doesn't play 30 frames per second or something like that, so you actually get frame skip. And what happens is, and yes, this is technical stuff, but you wanted to know how to Let's Play and all that, which technically means that the audio runs more audio than the visuals get pumped out through the card. It's kind of weird. So this actually sorts that out for you. If I was to record it via this, it basically would mean that the sound gets ahead of the video and the sound's all out of sync for the base video. This would sort it out. This does it no problem. It sorts things out by itself. So the last capture device, so yeah, if you want to film a really old game, I'd recommend trying to plug it into this. The last part of all this, and this is a little extra here, this is, of course, as you'll notice, a Nintendo 3DS. But if you may notice, it kind of is a bit thicker. Everything about the inside of the 3DS is normal, but this outer bit here, let's try to focus this properly, this bit here, coming round to the cartridge slot and the USB slot, as you can see, is all added onto it. Now this was done by Game Capture 3DS or 3dsgamecapture.com or net. If you search 3DS Game Capture, you will see it. And to be honest, one of these at retail, or if you were to buy the 3DS with a capture card without sending in your own 3DS, I think you're looking at like $400 or $500 for one of these. Now we managed to get it on eBay secondhand for a lot cheaper, so you might want to search there as well for a second-hand one, because to be honest, there's a lot of people that fork a lot of money into YouTube and then it doesn't work for them, and they think that they're going to make big money out of it, and you know, then they have to get rid of the gear because, well, it's an expense that's, you know, they try to recoup some of their expense. But yes, it's got a capture card in the back here, which basically means that I plug in a normal micro USB into the back of my PC, and it just streams it through a capture app that is also available on their website, which is perfectly fine. I could stream through that as well, I imagine. I do not know, but still. Basically, yes, this little extra capture card built on is a fairly expensive doohickey. Originally, you also used to have to plug in something like this, which is a aux cable with a, what is it called? Noise reducing aux audio cable. You can't see the writing unless it focuses in a little bit more there. But yeah, because you'd get a lot of mechanical sound from the computer because of the usual buzzing and all that, and that helps filter it out. But nowadays, you can just do it through the normal micro USB. So this is a Capture 3DS. Normal price would probably be around $400, $500. So what was that, 300 quid or so? A lot more price than a normal DS, but that's for sure. But this one, well, I was very lucky to obtain because of Becca's eagle eyes. Man, she is very good at shopping on eBay, trust me. Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem, costs 120 quid. Becca managed to find that for 40 quid, so a third of the price that it usually kind of goes at on eBay. She's very good eBay shopper, honest to goodness. So that's all the capture devices. The last thing I have to use for anything here, let's switch over on the floor. This is my overall cable soup underneath my computer. Of course, we've got the Xbox there. We've got the PS4 a little bit further along. Xbox, Wii U just under that. We've got the Xbox One up on a higher shelf. Astro USB thing for a headset down there, which I don't use anymore. I had that for Call of Duty to sound listened quite a bit. So the Xbox One, my PC's over here, this X-Predator nice little device. I'll bring up its settings and all that in the bit, because we're going to transition over onto main screen here. And then my overall setup, apart from that, we've got the PC monitor, we've got a normal monitor, some cotton buds for my ears because I need to be able to hear the game footage played at extremely low level when I record, and my Samsung C01U studio condenser mic with a very dusty frame there, that's for sure, with pop guard on to try to guard all the noises, because they're not exactly great on a mic, as you'll probably have just discovered right then. But this mic's been with me since the start, and this is the reason my voice sounds like it does in the videos. To be honest, if you get different ones, like for example Blue Snowball, that kind of stuff, your voice quality will be different, so you want to figure out what you want for you, what voice quality you want. So yeah, everything's up. And that's my overall setup with a G15 keyboard for editing and all that, and a very standard normal mouse as well. So that's all the gear on the cable suit behind it, because to run YouTube you have a lot of cables. Down here, for example, this is the cables that go to the TV in the back of the hull pod. We've got the cables for the Wii just kind of like separated there because they have to go in different spots. We've got all these cables, and this isn't even all the cables put in, because there's even more cables, because there's like loads of USBs in the back. If you want a good YouTube setup, man, cables galore. One day I'll sort this out, but one day I won't have a black desk as well that attracts dust like crazy. I had to clean all this for this. Nice and shiny now though, nice and shiny now. But moving on, let's get onto the PC itself and give you a little bit more of a little guide into the Let's Playing world. And so we come over to the desktop now. So we've shown you the capture cards, the things I use physically to make these videos. Now we go over to software, and as we reach the desktop, I usually have one of my latest Let's Plays as the background. As inspiration, you'll see everything kind of nicely arranged here. I've got games for myself on the bottom, ones that I've played and messed around with a little bit. Theme Hospital is kind of cool, that's for sure. And we've got ourselves the usual stuff over here, just the usual programs you have in the usual place. Over here in the top right though, with this lovely FPS counter going on, over here next to the Fire Emblem Path of Radiance logo, is all my programs, all the stuff I've used for just making these videos. So I'm going to try and give a quick overview of each one for you if you're interested in the Let's Play biz, including some render settings and stuff like that. So bear with me for another 10 minutes or so. Right, first of all though, for the last game capturing thing we've got on, we've got Fraps. I got this when I did some Minecraft videos way back in the day. I did some StarCraft 2 as well. Anything I've used to record PC, I basically used Fraps to do. So as we remove the FPS counter, which tells me nicely in red that it's recording, so we're safe. Basically that records into a file, anything I want. I've not really dabbled so much with this as a whole, as I'd like to kind of make it so it doesn't record such heavily like data kind of stuff, because the file sizes get very big very fast with Fraps. But yes, I've used Fraps in the past to do anything I need to do whenever I've had to film desktop or whenever I've done a video like this, which I think has been once in the past. But yes, that's Fraps is used to film all of this. All that I need to do to show you right now. Any PC gaming footage will be filmed by Fraps unless I find something better out there, which there probably is now, that's for sure, because the climate for video game recording has changed, and there's no better marker of that than Total Media Extreme. This is the software program I use to record the Halpag HD PVR. So basically I just click record video, and lovely setup would come up with some bare kind of minimum settings, some little bit of quality, a little bit of bit rate here and there, bit rate you film a video at, and all that. It also comes with some creating DVD stuff. You can play the videos back, and your Oxoff Media Converter. So this was the basic edit kind of like media suite that I used back in my Call of Duty times when I was starting off. So I was converting stuff over into different files and all that. I don't need to do that nowadays because I understand a lot more than I did back then, because YouTube Let's Playing is a learning process. You have to kind of pick up all these extra skills and kind of like research and try to learn what all these about. But yes, it's basically a very basic thing with a big screen up here, just a click record thing and not so many options. Moving on from that, when I got the Elgato, I was kind of introduced to, well, a more all-in-one type software. Now, before I used this, I kind of got set in my ways of using a video file and then using Vegas and stuff like that to kind of make the completed video. This, however, has the option, has an editing suite, which you can cut down bits of the video and all that jazz. So, for example, I could cut down a little bit here and get rid of it, like that, so I could make the video and change it all I needed to. So you can edit it and upload from here. You can share via YouTube. You can even record with your audio already in, so your speaking voice alongside the game audio. You could share it to multiple things here and convert it to an MP4 folder, which goes away, and then that's what I use to actually make my videos. So it saves all the files, all the folders up here, lovely little bits. But apart from that, right, moving on to capture. This is the main capturing suite. You actually get to choose what console you're plugging into it. Once this loads, I think it's a bit slow because of Fraps at the moment. I've got an SSD, so it shouldn't be too bad. So once this loads, then we got the Xbox One. You get to choose what console you've got, kind of thing, and it moves on. If you try to use a PlayStation 4, you can't get with the HDMI input because it just messes up horribly. It really does. So PlayStation 3 was the last thing I had in. I'll change that back. You can change quality, settings, picture, brightness, contrast, color, all that. A lot more options as a whole. You click record by pressing over here. It has flashback recording. So, for example, if you weren't recording but you have had this on, you can literally just skip back and it will record for you, and then you press record and you record that bit that you missed. So, for example, you get a crazy quad feed on a Call of Duty game and you missed it. You weren't recording at the time. You just skip back on this time bar, find it, record it, done. It's quite nice like that. Also, you get to put in your commentary. You get to go live streaming as well and choose like things like that. So it's a suite for everything, if you know what I mean. You can live stream from this as well if you've got the internet to be able to do that with. So that's everything here. Right, moving on from that, that's my game capturing stuff done, apart from the 3DS Capture, which is a program that's kind of built by the same guys who does 3DS Capture, the capture mods that I showed you for the 3DS. Just search it on the internet and you'll find what I mean. You'll find his site. It's a bit bare bones, but a nice video capturing software here. You either get it in one big screen so you can blow up your footage, play on the Game Boy. Of course, you're still using the normal Game Boy controls, but you can see it up there in all its big glory. Or you can split window and put them where you want to. For example, I've filmed stuff before in a kind of this formation. And had like little bits of the bar kind of up there. Then I'd have that there. Then I'd have my audio on. So, you know, you can set them up in any way you want. You've got some video setting options. I recommend filming at 60 FPS because otherwise you might drop some frames and you might lose some visual stuff in your videos. Even if it is bigger file sizes, it does kind of pay off in the end for quality by a fair margin, that's for sure. But yeah, I just click record on that and it'll dump it in a folder for me, and then I just take the video and I edit it. Now, 3DS video is more difficult to edit than, well, the other kinds of video, that's for sure. So, apart from that, the one other kind of capture program I use is to capture my audio, which is Audacity, a nice free program that I've used since the start. I have my recording volume set here to 70, but of course, for this, you just click record. The voice comes up in lovely peaks, as you can see me talking right now, and I just record for this on, la 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 la, do my thing, and at the end of it, I record, press stop, export the audio into a file, and I add that to my stuff in the end. So, right, apart from that, as you can see kind of going along, for example, I like to look at these audio files quite drastically. For example, if I'm between talking, and you see like little bits of clicks, like for example here I move the mouse, you see this little bit here? Maybe that's something I need to edit out. Maybe that's like extra noise. Maybe that's like the sound of the inside of my mouth. Maybe it's a click. Maybe it's a sneeze. Maybe it's a cough. I look for weird sound spikes and I try to edit them out. So for example, if I were to go so you see that big peak there. I cough. If I have to cough, which is only when I'm ill, I can just either silence the audio by just like, or cut the audio, though mind you it is kind of generally better to kind of generate silence on top of it and just cover it completely and leave your audio track, otherwise your audio gets out of sync, that's for sure. But just stuff like that. I really like to audio edit quite a bit in my videos, and you'll see them on the soundtracks, but basically I just record and then I export it into a WAV file, and then it goes into the main editing suite. So of course you've got all these collection kind of things, but this is where the magic happens. No, I don't want to open you at the moment, Vegas. I've already got some folders up ready. So we got the setup questions, the two parts I've done for this already in here. We've got everything going on that you've seen before. You've got nice properties here. I always disable resample on things because otherwise you end up with some kind of motion blur going on. So as you can see my fingers there, just here, you can see this kind of blur in the preview. And that kind of tones it down a little bit more. It's more evident in gaming footage. It's something you always want to do, is disable the resample. I've always got a frame going on, which of course a frame has to go above the video footage, otherwise it gets laid over. So for example, if I move it up here, the frame will disappear. So anything above on the track files will lay over it. So that's how you basically do a layout. As you can see right here, if I were to move this down to, the game would, you know, it'd kind of cover it up. Otherwise, it's above, and it's nice, and it fits quite nicely indeed. So this is a Partners in Time episode that was on recently that I've edited up. As you can see, the audio, a lot of the pauses are edited out, just in case there were any kind of, here we go, here's one. A little clicky bump. It's hard to see there, it's a bit easier to see there. Those are like little clicks and little noises. I try to edit them all out so you don't get them, even if the game sound drowns them out. So we've got ourselves a 3DS file here, and this is what a usual recording does, one that's not on a DS, which usually comes in one video feed. One feed indeed. Right then, so you've got one feed. I disable the resample, otherwise things get a bit weird, that's for sure. Let's try and find a moving bit of the image. Here we go. You see the feet there? You see the feet have been multiplied. You get this kind of blur effect. If you disable the resample, nothing happens. That's a bit weird. Usually it does. Usually it does. I gotta find a really proper thing to show you at the moment then, really. Now, let's try and find somewhere that will work. Probably Mario and that will do, but this is my usual HD recording stuff. And let me get you out some recording render settings before I move on from there. So, what I will record are the project properties, which is this bit up here. If you're using Sony Vegas, my video settings will be to here. 60 FPS is important. It ups the quality quite a bit. One here, make sure it's HD, so 128 by 720p on the width and height. And these are my overall settings. Of course, full resolution rendering quality will be always put at best. The audio there, the ruler there, you can pause it to see it in more detail if you need to. Well, that's basically how I run the show. Apart from that, we've got render settings. So, if I were to render a video out, for example, if I was to render this episode 43 of Path of Radiance, we'd go here and I have multiple render settings, but to be honest, most of the time I use YouTube HD, which if I click custom here, I can show you as well. So this is what I'd set it as, a 60 FPS frame rate. I would include, make sure it's HD, 1280 by 720, profile main, all that jazz, number of reference frames, yada yada, not exactly important. Variable bitrate can be changed up and down. I put it on variable and put it on the same, so it's kind of like that average is the same, but it basically makes it, that's more or less a custom one. It basically makes it so in more HD videos, for example, lightning returns and stuff like that, that kind of flowy cutscene stuff, the lower bitrate is, the more you notice it, the more blur starts to come in. So the higher the bitrate is, the bigger the video, but the better quality the video is as a whole. For example, if we go to YouTube 3DS here, you can see I used to use a lower bitrate for that, and then we go YouTube Wii, which is set to a constant bitrate of 4 and stuff like that, because some things you're recording don't go over a certain bitrate, but sometimes it's better to just record or render over the bitrate because YouTube naturally compresses it down. Does that make any sense? I don't know, but that's basically bitrate quality. If your quality's lacking, up the bitrate seems to work for me. So that's my overall settings there, with the audio to there, and the project set to video rendering quality best. That's for sure. HD quality YouTube videos, high def is what I've noted it as. So that's my render settings in general. If I want to record multiple videos or render multiple videos, I can quickly save there. If I press R, it makes a region. It made a region a little bit further in there, but then I can put another video right here, another video right here, another video right here, make sure everything's in the right boxes, and then I can go to Tools, Scripting, Batch Render, which then render regions, which I made with dragging the thing over and pressing R, and then I basically go to my render setting, choose that, choose a folder to go in, press OK, and we've rendered multiple videos in a row based on region, so you don't have to always be at your PC if you're trying to render multiple videos at once. So, I hope that really has helped a lot with the overall Let's Play kind of jive. There's a lot to do, a lot to think about, a lot of editing to do. 3DS stuff gets even more difficult if you're thinking about doing that, because let's put this in here. So that's my main file. Let's talk about audio syncing as well. So with a 3DS, you get one file. As you can see, there's a little bit of blur there, right? If I press disable resample, a little bit of that blur will go away. See? Nice and clear. That's my example of disable resample. But yes, 3DS is weird. You need kind of the two-screen thing going on. As you see, it records like this no matter which way you had the window set up. So what I need to do is I need to duplicate the video track to put it in two places at once. So now you'll get that kind of thing going on here. Now what I do is I move them up to the tracks placing that they already are. Delete this track, and as you'll see, I've got it separated in two things because one I need to make sure I see what I want to see. So for example, if this is the top screen, I put it to top screen and it goes like that, so it records just this little bit here. Basically I take the image and I crop this and just bring it in until I can get exactly the bit of the game I want to display. For the same thing here, I've got a preset for bottom screen, and so we get that over there. So you see that kind of screen comes out. Now to get it the big on the overall thing, that basically all that did was say this is the limits I want to see in the event pan crop bit. For that, you have to go to track motion and you set up a place you want it to be, a size you want it to be. As you can see, I made it bigger there.
But yeah, you track motion it and move it around as you need to and put it in the places you need to and then put the layout on top. So it's basically like that if you want to do 3DS footage. You duplicate the thing, delete the extra track if you want to, and done and done. Apart from that, for audio editing, what I do is, because I record all the audio separately, is I drop the audio track in, and this is the weird part. I'll look for spikes in the gameplay, things like events like jumping or voices. For example, here, of course, Mario and Luigi would have got battle, and they went, oh, let's go, and all that. So there'd be a little bit there, but of course my voice is blocking. So I look for clear voice for my voice, and obvious events. For example, this guy took damage right here. There was a noise of it bumping on him, yeah? I literally turn my speakers way up. I put this video track down to a lower decibel, because I always have like different video tracks at different kind of, or audio tracks at different kind of decibel levels. For example, 14 decibels below my commentary is what I have the video game, so it kind of mixes nicely and one doesn't drown out the other too much. You can hear me clearly, you can hear the game as clearly as possible. That's how I do things. Right, so down here it would be like down to like 35 decibels, 29 decibels, somewhere like that. And basically, because I've recorded and I had to listen to the game sound myself, in these blank spots is actually game sound. So I would lower this track to be more matching that track in terms of game sound. So this is kind of representative of this at the moment, lowered by 33.3 decibels. They're kind of around the same level. And for example, if they were going, let's go here, I might get let's go here and let's go over this bit. So I'd move it a little bit until it all matched up. So basically, if that was the hammer noise comes in, or the right here, so I'd basically move that until the hammer noise here was synced with that, and I'd play it and it would be like normal kind of sounding. The music would all be matched up. That's how I video sync. I usually choose the middle of the video to do that, so it doesn't drift too much either side, and the video it kind of gets closer, gets better, and then gets a bit away because there's a little bit of audio lag, a little bit of that. But that's how I record videos. That's how I sync videos. That's how I set things out. I then go through all the stuff and delete any extra like noises, the clicks and all that, and that's it. That's basically it. As you can see, it's very painstaking. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work that you have to put in to put out one video. You can do the things the lazy way. You can just go, here we go, here's Path of Radiance. I could have just went bang, not edited out any of these clicks or cuts, and just went bang, you're done, you're in, just resample and that. You'll notice when people are being lazy. You'll notice when people are trying to, well, you probably won't notice when people are trying really hard to make you not notice bad things. So that is video editing 101. That is basically what I do to do YouTube. So all the sound editing, all the video editing, I've talked so much because that's all the explanation it is. So I'm going to refer everyone to this video who asks me again. Those are all the things I use, the programs I use, the things I do to bring these videos to you. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of work. I have to upload overnight, I have to render overnight, I have to just fit everything through a day and fit it in as best as possible to get you these videos out. So yeah, a lot of work goes into it. I barely get to touch these games because when this PC's on, I'm always going at it. As you can see, I've already started trying to edit together with little bits of fades and all that.
Let's get moving.
It's already started.
So now we move things
you'll be seeing this video in weird kind of paradigm. But I'll see you guys for the next part of the Q&A, where we're back to answering standard questions as we go on with finish with a Zelda question. So, video kind of setup, video recording, this is what a Let's Player does. Hope I didn't discourage you, or hope it encouraged you. Now know kind of things you need to buy, what you need to do. YouTubing is expensive, so, you know, watch your budget, try to match things, don't go overboard, that kind of thing. And I'll see you guys around for more videos in the future as I get back to editing this video now. Bye-bye.